Hello, and thanks for joining us for THV 11 News at noon. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and these are some of the stories that we're following right now. U.S. Marshals have joined the search for a Little Rock murder suspect. How you can help in the search in less than 1 minute.
It's been 2 years since the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. I'm Deborah Alfarone with how this dark day in democracy is being remembered, plus what's next into the investigation into what started it all.
And the king of rock and roll would be 88 years old this week. Just ahead, how movie theaters are celebrating the occasion. But first, let's do a quick check of weather here at noon with meteorologist Scott Covert. We've had a pretty chilly start to our day. Scott, please tell me it's going to warm up just a bit.
Just a bit and nothing more. You're right. It is pretty chilly out there. Some locations around the state here at the noon hour still in the 40s. I think most of us probably do warm into the 50s at least. Here are your temperatures this afternoon. 54 right now in Little Rock, 49 in Russellville, finally up to 51 in Searcy. It's 56 in Pine Bluff. There you see the latest update moving South Arkansas in those upper 50s. That's probably where we're going to end up. Some locations like Arkadelphia, DeQueen, Camden. If you're lucky, you probably make it into those 60s today. It feels pleasant overall for this time of year. The only difference between yesterday and today, you got more cloud cover out there, and those clouds by tomorrow bring a chance of rain. 30% chance of those spotty showers on Saturday. We'll dry out, but we cool down heading into Sunday. We'll have an hour-by-hour look of when you can expect that rain coming right up.
The U.S. Marshals have now joined the search for a teenage suspect in last month's homicide at Big Country Chateau. 15-year-old Tyler Bland is wanted for capital murder. If you know where he is or have information that could be helpful, call the number on your screen. Remember, you can stay anonymous. Right now, Little Rock police are currently investigating an overnight homicide. Few details have been released, but here's what we do know right now. A black teenage male was shot and pronounced dead at a local hospital right before midnight. Police later found out the incident happened on DePriest Road, which is off of Chico Road in Mapleville. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to call Little Rock Police. North Little Rock police are conducting an investigation of their own today after someone fired a gun inside McCain Mall. It happened last night while the mall was still open. Police quickly responded and tell us one shot was fired, but no one was hurt. So far, there's no suspect and no arrest, and it doesn't appear the bullet caused any damage. And police are warning a man wanted for murder out of Oklahoma may be hiding out in the Little Rock area. Javion Washington is wanted out of Tulsa for first-degree murder. Little Rock police say Washington is aware they're looking for him. They also say he has tattoos on his neck and arms, but you cannot see them in this picture. A warrant is out for his arrest. In a THV 11 update, a former judge in eastern Arkansas is now facing multiple charges, including solicitation. Former Monroe County District Court Judge Thomas Caruth of Clarendon allegedly asked a woman for sex in return for moving up her boyfriend's trial on the calendar. If convicted of that top count, the 63-year-old faces up to 20 years in prison. Meanwhile, this morning, a former FBI agent will be avoiding prison time. Robert Cesario admitted to destroying evidence in a high-profile case and today received probation. He faced as much as 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine, and said the judge gave him 3 years of supervised probation with 6 months in home detention. In 2018, Cesario cleared his computer hard drive, wiping the evidence that was to be used in a case involving former state Senator John Woods. Some people in the courtroom thought Cesario should have served prison time.
This is an FBI agent that knew what he did was wrong. He was in contempt of court when he was told to turn the computer over for forensic examination. He did not do what he was told to do. He lied to the court, and then he destroyed relevant evidence, we believe, for the John Woods case. To me, that deserves a little bit more than 3 years of probation at home.
Cesario stated in court that he was protecting his medical records, but that he should have found another way of handling his personal data. Turning now to national news, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students made his first appearance in court yesterday, triggering the release of the arresting documents. The affidavit explains why police arrested Brian Koberger and the evidence they collected in order to formally charge him as a suspect. Court documents show the suspect's phone was traced to the area of the crime as well as his DNA. We're also learning that 2 surviving roommates were inside the home during the time of the murders.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Law 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set of this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time.
According to the affidavit, a murder weapon was never found. However, agents did recover a knife sheath and matched it to the DNA taken from the suspect's home in Pennsylvania. And it's a welcome and positive update. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin has shown, quote, a remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours, according to doctors treating him. This is just 3 days after he went into cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated on the field. The Athletic reporting today that Hamlin is now breathing on his own and able to talk after his breathing tube was removed today. Even able to join a Friday morning team meeting with the Bills. Now, former Arkansas Razorback and Cleveland Browns running back Peyton Hillis remains in critical condition this morning after a swimming accident. Hillis was reportedly hurt while saving his children from drowning in the ocean off of Pensacola, Florida. His children are okay. However, the 36-year-old Conway native was airlifted to a hospital where he remains in the ICU. Now, according to his uncle, Hillis's health is improving. The city of Conway posted a message on its Facebook page. They said, "Hang in there, Peyton Hillis. We're rooting for you." Hillis played for Arkansas from 2004 to 2007. He's been out of the NFL since 2014. Lawmakers are pushing to remember a dark day in U.S. history. It was 2 years ago today that a mob of rioters staged a deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. As a result of the events, the lives of 5 officers were lost. 140 officers were seriously injured that day. Deborah Afferone reports from Capitol Hill.
Members of Congress gathered to mark the 2nd year since the U.S. Capitol insurrection.
Holy God, you have anointed this land.
There were prayers and words of gratitude to the men and women who defended democracy on that day.
We will never forget their sacrifice, and we will never forget this day.
It was January 6, 2021, that a mob of mostly President Trump supporters stormed the Capitol. The rioters overpowered police from several agencies as they climbed walls, smashed windows, and attacked officers. Some of those police officers are receiving the Presidential Citizens Medal today. President Biden will also recognize election workers who became targets of harassment and local officials who affirmed the results of the election.
There were few arrests on January 6, but the FBI moved fast, seizing cell phone records and compiling thousands of hours of video in what may be the most documented crime in U.S. history.
At least 950 people have been charged so far, nearly half of whom have either pleaded guilty or been convicted.
These people are not going to take it any longer.
Former President Trump could also face charges after an 18-month probe. The U.S. House January 6 committee referred him to the Justice Department for prosecution, alleging he incited the insurrection. Trump denies any wrongdoing and has already launched his campaign to run for president in 2024. Deborah Alferone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, the state of U.S. Capitol Police officer Brian Sicknick, who died a day after the January 6, 2021 riots, has sued former President Trump for wrongful death. A new Labor Department report shows new jobless claims fell to 204,000 in the final week of 2022. That is the lowest number since September. But the numbers are not necessarily good news for the Federal Reserve, which raised interest rates 7 times last year, hoping to actually slow job growth, which could in turn help rein in high inflation. Well, it's a talent you have to see to believe. Meet Jude, an 11-year-old piano prodigy. We'll share his unique story when the news at noon returns in just 2 minutes.
It's certainly not been a bad day. You're looking at partly cloudy skies off towards the east of Little Rock. We've got more of those clouds building into our sky, and by tomorrow, those clouds likely produce some rain. We'll have a look at the chance of that as well as the rest of the weekend's forecast coming up when THV 11 News at noon returns.